Hello there, you're tuned into 7Edition with me, Azlina Najri, and the top stories. Tun M to step down as PM before completing a full term in office. Enforcement begins nationwide on unregistered self-employed taxi and e-hailing drivers. And Malaysia braces for haze from Indonesian forest fires. Tun Dr. Mahathir Mohamad stressed today that he will step down as Prime Minister when the country is back on an even keel. At the same time, he said he will keep his promise to step down before completing a full term in office. Tun Dr. Mahathir was asked to comment on Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali's call for the former to serve full term for a stable Malaysia. In a statement 2 days ago, the Economic Affairs Minister said Malaysians had voted in the previous general election for institutional reforms, and this would only be possible if there was stability in the government.
Tetapi saya dah bagi undertaking that I will step down when I find that the situation in the country has been put on an even keel and can carry on from there. It may be 2 years, it may be 3 years, I don't know, but we are working on that. Unless they push me to a corner and put a gun to my head and say, you continue until you finish your term, unless you do that, I will step down. I keep my promise.
Tun Dr. Mahathir spoke to the media after a roundtable meeting with the International Chambers of Commerce in the Federal Administrative Capital this morning. At the same media conference, the Premier also confirmed that he had met with several members of the opposition who had expressed support for him to complete a full term as Prime Minister. He added that even past President Datuk Sri Abdul Hadi Awang has constantly urged him to continue serving as the country's leader.
The meeting actually happened, but I mean everybody, not just opposition. Even NGOs, I meet them. And as you know, the past president, Haji Hadi, has been saying all the time that he supports me. There's nothing new. Yeah, they want to come and see me, I see them. I hear what they want to say. Well, a lot of them express support for me. Thank you very much.
He said this when asked to comment on reports that a group of opposition members had met with him last Tuesday in the presence of a federal cabinet minister. Tun Dr. Mahathir, however, declined to name the minister. Now, on another matter, the Prime Minister today confirmed that the government's proposed acquisition of 4 tolled highways in the Klang Valley would eventually take place. However, the Cabinet would decide on a new date after deliberating on the matter. Tun Dr. Mahathir said for now, the government needs to reconsider its capability to finance the takeover.
Well, the finance ministry seems to be convinced it can be done. Our problem is that we don't have the money. But the finance ministry says by charging during the peak hours, they can raise enough funds to pay for the acquisition of these 4 highways. We will have to see whether that will be enough or not. In any case, we have decided that there will be a time when we will implement.
Yesterday, Singapore's Straits Times had reported that the Finance Ministry's proposal to take over the 4 tolled highway concessions for 6.2 billion ringgit from Gamuda Berhad had been put on hold for a re-examination of the offered price. It quoted sources as saying that the government, including cabinet members, believed the offer was excessive and that the projected revenue from the introduction of the congestion charge might not be enough to fund the acquisition. Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng had in June announced that a congestion charge would be introduced beginning January 1st next year once the takeover of the tolled highways was completed. The Finance Ministry, meanwhile, said that the 6.2 billion ringgit price tag for the highway takeover is not final. Deputy Finance Minister Datuk Amiruddin Hamzah said the government will carry out a due diligence process to determine the final value of the highways.
Itu semua tidak final. Tidak final. Kita nak kena buat due diligence lagi. Kan? So itu I think probably off the cuff punya ni dulu yang disebut, sebab bila you nak offer dekat orang before dia punya shareholders untuk nak buat keputusan, kena adalah some figures kan. Agaknya that was the first one. But then after they say yes, if this is the amount, and then we've got to do due diligence. And then if the due diligence process shows that the amount is too low or is too high, and then something has got to be done.
According to Dato' Amiruddin, what is important for the Pakatan Harapan government now is to fulfill its election manifesto of reducing and eliminating tolls. In other news, self-employed taxi and e-hailing drivers who have yet to sign up for the Self-Employment Social Security Scheme take heed, as the Social Security organisation Socso is coming after you. Its Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Operations, John R. Marin, said Socso officers will be going undercover to nab the errant taxi and e-hailing drivers under a month-long nationwide crackdown operation called Ops Patuh, which kicked off today. Those who have yet to make contributions under the scheme would be first given a compound notice that requires them to bring proof of registration and contribution payment within 7 days. If they fail to do so, action will be taken against them in accordance to the Self-Employment Social Security Act. Contributors only needed to pay a minimum of 13 ringgit and 10 cent per month to be covered under the scheme. However, only 35,757 drivers have registered since the scheme was launched in 2017. The figure is far too low compared to the 316,000 taxi and e-hailing drivers registered under the Land Public Transport Agency. Socso is also looking to expand the scheme to other e-hailing service sectors such as food delivery riders. Now, those who want to register can visit Socso's website for more information. Now, a naked man's attempt to break into a two-storey house in Taman Harmonis Gombak at 3 a.m. failed when he was startled by the homeowner. According to police, the 28-year-old house occupant had heard a noise downstairs and went to investigate. The resident was then surprised to see the naked man trying to pry open the front window. The person then shouted at the man, causing the suspect to immediately flee the scene. From the CCTV footage, it appeared the suspect was alone. The video of the brazen man trying to break into the house also went viral recently after it was uploaded on Facebook. A police report has been lodged over the incident. Now, Malaysia and Russia are on the same page when it comes to the issue of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 that was shot down 5 years ago. Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah said relations between Malaysia and Russia remains strong despite the tragedy. Datuk Saifuddin was in Bangkok for the 52nd ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting and had met Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov on the sidelines. While Malaysia and Russia has different reasons to be on the same page on MH17, both were uncomfortable with efforts by certain quarters that were too quick in making accusations against certain countries and individuals while the investigations were ongoing. Datuk Saifuddin also said Malaysia remained steadfast in ensuring that investigations were conducted in a proper, open and accountable manner. Flight MH17 was flying from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur when it was shot down over eastern Ukraine, 40 kilometers from the Russian border in 2014. Dutch-led international investigators have since charged 4 people, 3 Russians and 1 Ukrainian, with murder over the tragedy. Now, over in other news, the Thai government, particularly the local authorities in Sungai Golok, is committed in improving the image of the country's southernmost region, which was badly affected by an armed conflict a few years back, which claimed about 7,000 lives. Authorities are said to be working towards revitalizing the tourism industry in particular, which had experienced a difficult time due to economic uncertainties. According to Sungai Golok Mayor Suchada Panarai, a few years later, Sungai Golok is improving and expanding as unique attraction despite competitions from other fast-growing border towns. The city is cleaner and more relaxing as traffic is not much of a nuisance like most places, even on weekends. Besides its numerous business premise, the weekly street market offers visitors a unique experience. Suchada said the Thai government will also give priority to protecting the safety of the people, especially tourists who visit the country.
จุดประสงค์เราต้องการให้คนที่ได้ฟังสื่อจากทีวีช่อง 3ในวันนี้ได้เห็นบรรยากาศในเมืองสวยกรกเราว่าเป็นเมืองนะคะที่ยังเป็นชีวิตปกติอยู่เหมือนเดิมนะคะมีนักท่องเที่ยวได้เข้ามาท่องเที่ยวของเราเนี่ยก็อย่างปกตินะคะก็ถือโอกาสที่จะให้ทางสื่อทีวีช่อง 3เนี่ยได้ไปทำความประชาสัมพันธ์ให้คนที่ท่องเที่ยวมาเลเซียได้เข้ามานะคะว่าบ้านเมืองเราก็เป็นปกติเหมือน
Suchada said this after a meeting with Media Prima Berhad's television network news and current affairs team headed by its managing editor, Datuk Manja Ismail. The visit was on the invitation of the mayor, who personally took the MPB team on a tour of its various tourism facilities, including a modern futsal field often used by teams from Kelantan. The second giant panda cub born in Malaysia has been named Yi. The name, which translates to friendship in Chinese, was revealed by Water, Land and Natural Resources Minister Dr. A. Xavier Jayakumar at the Giant Panda Conservation Centre in Zoo Negara today.
The government of Malaysia has carefully selected and consulted the China Wildlife Conservation Association before finalizing on a deemed suitable name. It gives me pleasure to announce the name of the second female cub as Yi, which means friendship.
Yi was born on January 14th last year and currently weighs almost 50 kilograms. Its parents, Liang Yang and Shishi, arrived in Malaysia on May 21st, 2014 under a 10-year loan program to mark the 40th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the country and China. The pair's first female cub, Nuan Nuan, was born on August 23, 2016 at the zoo and was sent to China's Giant Panda Conservation and Research Centre on November 14th the following year. Now, when we return, a closer look at the world's third tallest building. Stay with us. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the Makkah Clock Tower, standing at 601 meters, is the tallest clock tower and the third tallest building in the world. Built at the cost of 62 billion ringgit, it is now part of the Abraj Al Bait complex in front of Masjid Al Haram. And what makes it more unique is that it does not only tell you the time, but it stands firm as an astronomical research point. Fazila Hani Harun reporting from Makkah.
Dengan ketinggian 601 meter, menara jam ini adalah menara jam yang terbesar dan juga bangunan ketiga tertinggi di dunia. Dan di sini kami berada di bahagian balkoni di mana pengunjung boleh melihat pemandangan indah Masjidil Haram dan persekitarannya. The Makkah Clock Tower is also the highest occupied tower in the world. The four-faced green clock is visible from some 17 kilometers away at night and 12 kilometers during the day. It is covered by 98 million glass mosaic adorned with 24-carat gold leaf. With each clock face measuring 43 meters, it is 35 times larger than London's Big Ben.
The objective is designed for the whole world, for the Muslims and non-Muslim. It contributes for the most accurate time and calendar measurements. It's a very high technical, as you know, center, and it provides the people with the timing, prayer times for all over the world, and the direction, Qibla direction for any place.
The Clock Tower Museum, which opened to the public last May, allows visitors to embark on a journey of faith through the universe with its exhibits. It is structured on 4 floors. One of the floors is dedicated to the sun and the moon, another for time measurement, while the first floor is devoted to the giant clock. The Clock Tower Museum already has 40,000 visitors going through its door since opening last Ramadan, and it is targeting 3 million visitors annually after the current Hajj season. The entrance fee is fixed at 150 Rial, or about 165 ringgit. Fazila Niarun, Makkah, Saudi Arabia for 7Edition.
Now, Malaysia is soon to be affected by the yearly haze following forest fires in 5 regions in Indonesia. So far, the haze situation is reportedly moderate throughout the nation. However, the readings in a couple of locations have been reportedly unhealthy. Johan Setia, Selangor and Rompin, Pahang have hit 110 and 103 respectively. On Wednesday, the Malaysian Meteorological Department said a number of countries will be affected in Indonesia's forest fires for about 7 days, and Malaysia is one of it. Due to the monsoon season in the southwest region, the pollution is travelling towards the moisture-filled lands through dry lands. Therefore, in the meantime, Malaysians are advised to be mindful of the air quality at all times and take the necessary precautionary steps. Now, a closer look at the forest fires in Indonesia. 6 provinces, including 3 that are close to Singapore, have declared a state of emergency to battle land and forest fires as the dry season is set to peak this month. The provinces hit are in Sumatra, Jambi, Riau, South Sumatra, West, South and Central Kalimantan. According to the National Disaster Management Agency, 433 hotspots across the country were detected by satellites on Tuesday morning, with Riau recording the largest number at 132. Following this, the local government has sent nearly 6,000 firefighting teams and 33 helicopters to the areas. 2 aircrafts were also sent to perform seed clouding to induce rainfall. It is believed that nearly 50 million out of 260 million Indonesia's population face drought in 28 of its 34 provinces. In mid-October 2015, Sumatra Island recorded the highest number of hotspots at 750 in a crisis caused by massive burning to clear land for palm oil, paper and rubber plantations. This has resulted in Singapore, Malaysia as well as parts of Thailand and Indonesia to be covered with choking haze for over a month. Now moving on to the 2020 US election. The first Democratic debate felt a little bit like a gang fight, with the candidates breaking into 2 distinct groups. Tuesday's debate highlighted the divide between the Democratic Party's moderate and liberal sides over what policies would appeal to voters and help unseat President Donald Trump.
Democratic frontrunner Joe Biden went on the offensive against his main opponents, but was rapidly assailed on the debate stage over key issues like immigration, healthcare, and gender pay gap. Tensions rose rapidly between the former vice president and Senator Kamala Harris, the most prominent African American in the field, when the US-Mexico border issue came up.
I have guts enough to say his plan doesn't make sense. Here's the deal. The fact of the matter is that, in fact, when people cross the border illegally, it is illegal to do it unless they're seeking asylum. People should have to get in line. That's the problem. And the only reason this particular part of the law is being abused is because of Donald Trump. We should defeat Donald Trump and end this practice.
The candidates then further discussed on the gender pay gap, which Harris demanded action.
Since 1963, when we passed the Equal Pay Act, we have been talking about the fact women are not paid equally for equal work. Fast forward to the year of our Lord 2019, and women are paid 80 cents on the dollar, black women 61 cents, Native American women 58 cents, Latinas 53 cents. I'm done with the conversation.
Striking a sharper and more aggressive tone, Biden tangled with Harris over healthcare, which has been an important issue for Democrats and was a focus during last year's midterm elections. The race is well underway within the Democratic Party to select a challenger to Trump in next November's presidential election.
And now it's time for Clickbait, where we take a look at what's trending and making rounds in the cyber world today. So it's an unspoken rule to not disturb the monkeys at Batu Caves, as locals claimed they are a special breed of monkeys that sometimes can appear as vicious. But foreign tourists who visit the popular spot might not have any idea just how crazy the monkeys can be, including this American internet personality who had a scary but hilarious encounter with one of the primates. Here's the story. Kelvin Penna, known on Twitter as Brother Nature, posted a 42-second video of him screaming when a monkey snarled and leaped at him. Unaware of the norm with the monkeys in Batu Caves, Penna also got closer and questioned the monkey, who was minding his own business, for allegedly stealing a bottle of drink from a vendor. While Penna was busy interrogating the animal, passers-by did nothing more than watch, knowing how things can get intense. Even the vendor did not dare approach the monkey to retrieve the stolen goods.
I'm gonna take it back. Chill, bro. It's yours. You got it. You got it. It's all yours, bro. I'm not trying to do the right thing. You got it.
The video gained mass attention on Twitter among Malaysians and non-Malaysians, with over 40,300 retweets and nearly 140,000 likes. Hopefully, this video stands as a lesson to not meddle in any monkey business.
Say, bro, don't mind me, bro. I'm just being a tourist.
Coming up, ESL unveils inaugural esports championship. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, the US Federal Reserve lowered interest rates for the first time in more than 10 years to help stave off the possibility of an economic downturn. Policymakers, led by Fed Chairman Jerome Powell, voted 8-2 in favor of a small cut in the federal funds rate and recommitted to their promise to act as appropriate to sustain the country's longest economic expansion in history. Now, interest rates, which affect the cost of borrowing for credit cards and mortgages, are now set to hover between 2 and 2.25%. The rate cut follows months of pressure from President Donald Trump, who has broken with his predecessor's practice of walling off the central bank from politics. The central bank is hoping a rate cut will be the necessary injection to keep the US economy healthy, especially because it has limited ammunition to respond to a downturn with historically low interest rates. The Fed also announced plans to end the reduction of its $3.8 trillion asset portfolio, effective August 1st, 2 months earlier than previously expected. And coming back home, Bursa Malaysia bucked the regional trend to end higher today, thanks to buying support in the selected heavyweights led by Tenaga and Press Metal, despite weak global market sentiment. The benchmark FBM KLCI rose 4.2 points to finish at 1,639.07, snapping its 3-session losing streak. On to stocks to watch. RHB Bank Berhad is set to start negotiations for the disposal of its stake in RHB Insurance to Tokyo Marine. The bank has attractive valuations, while the deal would be near-term positive for it due to potential disposal gains. Next, Globetronics Technology Berhad's 2019 earnings outlook is not looking great, dragged by low volume loadings. Even its estimated dividend yield of up to 4% may not be enough to make up for anticipated retracement in share price. And lastly, Harta Lega Holdings Berhad is head and shoulders above its peers in terms of better margins and cost reduction management. Its growth outlook is underpinned by upstick in demand, cost savings initiatives, and potential margins expansion from operating efficiencies. And now it's time for My Game On, bringing you the latest news on Malaysian esports and gaming. The world's largest esports company, ESL Asia, will be hosting the debut of the ESL MSP Championship for the Arena of Valor, happening across August and September. Among the invitees that will go through the open qualification round are Malaysia's Valor Cup finalists M8 Hexa.
According to the format, finalists from Malaysia and Liap Esports of the Philippines, as well as 6 other teams, will join the round. In total, 3 open qualifying rounds will be organized, and the 2 top teams for each qualification will continue to attend the championship. It will also feature the top 8 AOE squads in Malaysia, Singapore and the Philippines, where they will win 41,000 ringgit in prize money, as well as represent the 2019 International Arena of Valor AIC Championship. The 4 group level games will take place on Wednesday and Sunday between August 28 and September 8th, while playoffs will be held from September 21st and 22nd. Die-hard fans can watch the championship live on the official ESL Asia Facebook as well as their YouTube channel.